when real people play Forsaken as themselves.
Forsaken currently has 15 characters and over 300 skins, with a small amount of these skins and characters actually being based on real people. In today's video, we are going to be looking at what reactions these real people had when they saw themselves in Roblox Forsaken. The first character we will be looking at is the Shedletsky Survivor, who is based on John Shedletsky, a former Roblox admin and engineer. It's worth mentioning that Shedletsky was also one of the first Roblox employees, alongside Builderman and Matt Dusek, who are also both in Forsaken, although there is no evidence that either of them know that they are in the game. Now, the real Shedletsky has said a lot of things about Forsaken, and he also has actually played the game, and he's even stunned the killer. He said he liked it, but he needed to get good, and he added it to his favorites. He also thinks that the 1x4 outro animation is cool, but he thinks that he would have won and 1x would have died. And well, I'm not going to disagree with him. Next, we'll be looking at H2O Delirious, which is a skin for Jason that is based on a popular YouTuber of the same name, known for his funny gaming videos and really good mic quality. The skin has a custom chase theme and voice lines, which were actually sourced from his videos. H2O has created 4 videos on Forsaken, and he seems to enjoy the game a lot. The third character or characters we'll be talking about is 00N7 and Cool Kid. And the reason why we're talking about both is because in real life, N7 and Cool Kid aren't father and son, but they are actually the same person. Back in 2014, Cool Kid was just an alt account that N7 used to exploit in games like work at a pizza place, as seen in this video by Lulu Plays Games, who also, by the way, is a real person in Forsaken as a skin for Elliot. Anyways, 007E7, which is 007N7's real life cousin, confirmed that 007N7 saw and played Forsaken, and he thought the idea of 007N7 and Cool Kid being father and son was a cool idea. Also, we're on the way to 90,000 subscribers, so you should consider subscribing for Next, we all know that Elliot isn't based on a real person, but is instead based on the pizza delivery driver from the Roblox game Work at a Pizza Place. But Elliot has a skin for Dude1, who is actually the creator of Work at a Pizza Place. I wasn't able to find anything Dude1 has said about Forsaken, but he has the badge for playing the game and also has it favorited, so I would assume that he likes it. The last person I'll be talking about here is Flamingo. Now, Flamingo's main character is not in the game, but there is a skin for Shedletsky called Luis Gamer Cool 23, which is based on this channel, and he really hates nudes.
Why hate nudes?
In case you didn't know, Flamingo is actually the one behind this channel, although he did lose the password to this channel, so he's locked out of it forever. Now, Flamingo has made multiple videos on Forsaken, and for some reason in the first 2, he's just banned from Forsaken for like 7,000 days. Now, the reason for this is actually because there was a small incident a few months ago where the Forsaken developers accidentally made it so you could use the admin panel in private servers, and someone used this to ban Flamingo. But he still manages to play the game on an alt, and I think he really likes it.
Alright. Ow! I'm never playing this game again.
Anyways, which real-life person would you like to see play as their character in Forsaken next? Matt Dusek, a former Roblox employee, Builderman, the CEO of Roblox, of course, Bright Eyes, who is Shedletsky's wife, or even the real Pedro.exe, who has a skin for John Doe based on this meme. Or maybe even Mr. Doombringer, a current Roblox employee. He could possibly play as the upcoming Forsaken killer Doombringer, which is actually inspired by him. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment which real life.
That was it, bro, man. Ten things only old Forsaken players
Today I'm going to be
remember.
talking about 10 things that only old Forsaken players remember. Now I know what you're thinking, Forsaken is only 7 months old, why is this guy acting like Forsaken came out in 2016? Jokes aside, I'll be talking about things from the early days of Forsaken, when it had way less players than it does now. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. Mobile players used to have free aimbot for Cool Kid's Corrupt Nature ability, giving them a perfect landing hit on a survivor just by using the ability. This made Cool Kid a powerful killer on mobile, because it also gave him an ability that he didn't even have. Cool Kid is the only killer in the game who doesn't have an ability that lets him see where survivors are, like 1x's Unstable Eye, or John Doe's Error 404. But as a mobile player, you could just throw your Corrupt Nature, and it would go right to the closest survivor, no matter where they were. Meaning you could randomly get hit all the way across the map, like this poor Chance with Weakness. Yeah. It's also worth mentioning that this aimbot would work on players who were undetectable and invisible, making it extremely OP. Currently, Chance's reroll ability only rerolls his max health, giving it a random value between 55 and 130. But did you know that the ability also used to reroll his stamina too? Chance would spawn in with random health and stamina, with his lowest stamina being 70 and his highest being 100, already putting him at a disadvantage. But the crazy part is he could actually get over 100 stamina by using the reroll ability, and with 3 charges the max amount of stamina he could get was 109, which is only 1 less than the killer's stamina of 110. Now there's plenty of skins that have been removed from the game, but there's one removed skin that is way different than all the rest, and that is the Baby 2x skin. This skin was what was called a challenge skin, basically making the game harder for the skin user. It did this by having worse stats such as less HP, a super slow walk speed, and 1,000 stamina that ran out almost instantly. It's worth mentioning that there was a glitch with Baby 2x and the Gritty emote, which let them go super fast. It ended up getting removed because too many people were using it during rounds, making it too easy for the killer to win. Currently, it remains as a moderator exclusive skin, so if you're lucky enough to be in a game with a Forsaken moderator, then you might be able to see a baby stab the killer. Nowadays, we have generators that are based on the flow-free minigame, but before this we had these generators, which you can still try out in a private server on the Generator Hell map. To complete one of these, you had to make all the squares green by clicking on them, but clicking on one square would also affect all the squares touching it. The worst part about these generators is that only one person could work on it at a time, and someone could just come to your generator and spam click it, and you'd never get it done. When we had the old generators, they were not the only quest to show up during rounds. For some maps, you had to collect pumpkins or cover up graffiti. This is something I miss from the game because it added variety, and the current generators get pretty boring with how repetitive they are. The devs could maybe add special quests on some maps, like for example on the Work at a Pizza Place map, maybe you could go around finding a certain number of pizza boxes. Before we get into the next one, you guys should honestly consider subscribing for... Also, thank you guys so much for 100k subs. I'll be doing some giveaways in my Discord to their second life. But this wasn't always the case. In old Forsaken, 2x wouldn't be forced into their second life before Last Man Standing, meaning the killer had to kill them twice in Last Man Standing. This made 2x very overpowered and broke the game. Nowadays, the more sentinels that are in a round, the less time that each of them can stun the killer for. But back in old Forsaken, this did not exist, and survivors like Shedletsky and Chance also had way higher stun times. Chance's max stun duration was a whopping 6 seconds, and Shedletsky's was 4 seconds. If the lobby was full of 8 Shedletskys, each one of their stuns would still be 4 seconds, which is absolutely brutal for the killer. Unless you're John Doe, of course. Not to mention that Shedletsky's fried chicken ability also healed health instantly instead of over time. You could literally stun the killer, eat your chicken in front of their face, and still have 2 seconds to run away. Sentinels today are a lot weaker than when they were first released. Currently in Forsaken, the poison and corruption effects cannot kill you and will leave you at 1 health. But did you know that these effects actually used to be able to kill you? This made 1X a really good killer because his attacks inflict poison, so you could hit someone who was already low, and if they had a little bit of health left, the poison would end up finishing them off. On January 5th, 2025, 3 emotes were removed from the Forsaken shop. These were the Silly Billy, Subterfuge, and Miss the Quiet emotes. The reason they were removed was because the original creator of the songs, Churgny Gurgny, hopefully I said that right, didn't want his music used in the game. So the devs removed the emotes from the shop so that they could work on their own versions of the songs for the emotes, promising their return soon. Except that return never came. People who had the emotes could still use them, and they became rare because they were only available to buy during Forsaken's early days. Months went by and they were still gone until early March when the emotes were removed from everybody's inventories for good. It's worth mentioning that the Silly Billy emote had a special feature. Upon joining a server, there was a 1 in 1,000 chance that you would get a special variant of the emote with different music, which was this. 0.001% chance, by the way. Anyways, Hitoko, the owner of Forsaken, recently confirmed that Churgny Gurgny, the owner of the songs, gave them permission to add the emotes back as long as they were cheap or free, so hopefully we'll see them again soon. And finally, in Old Forsaken, John Doe's traps were overpowered. John Doe's digital footprint ability, which lets him place traps around the map, used to give him speed 2 for 15 seconds whenever they were stepped in by a survivor. You would literally be running around the map like this for 15 seconds. This is insane compared to the speed 1 for 10 seconds that he currently gets. If John Doe was chasing you, there was always some noob that would step in the trap placed all the way on the other side of the map, and I'm sure you can guess what happens next. Thank you guys for watching, and if you want to try out Old Forsaken for yourself, the first version of the game was released, and I will leave a link to it in the description.